Good evening, viewers, and welcome to FPRL Tier 3 Netherlands Grand Prix around Zandvoort. This track has got 14 corners and is 4.25 kilometers long. Drivers will need full concentration around this very tricky circuit due to the various sweeping and tight, fast corners where one mistake can put you into the gravel or worse. From last week, there hasn't been any movement at the top of the driver standings, with Sneddon now having a 51-point lead over second place driver FPRL Locker, who took second back after last week's race. Interestingly, the battle for second place is hotting up as there is only 24 points covering second to sixth. In the constructors, Alfa Romeo continue to dominate, who now have a 114-point lead over second place Williams, who did lose ground last week, unfortunately due to the poor performance. Tonight, as you may have already heard, the usual main commentator isn't here. However, he isn't too far behind. The partner in crime is here. Biddle is my co-commentator today. Good evening to you. How are you tonight, Biddle?
Hello. Well, I've been better. That's for certain. Been better. So I thought I'd hand things over to you. Although this probably sounds strange to people watching, considering all season it's been the other way around. But I'm excited for this race. I'm excited to take a little bit more of a backseat as well, to be fair. I used to do co-commentary more than the main commentary, so I'm looking forward to trying to provide some kind of insight, but I don't really know this track too well, so I'm going to struggle to do that, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about the track. Obviously, I wasn't here for the races last season, but I do know that it was a tricky track for some of the drivers, let's say. And there was a few incidents. Hopefully, we won't see that today. Quickly, just on the Williams boys, do you think they'll bounce back after last week's poor performance? I think they failed. I think they went out in Q1 last week.
Hopefully for their sake, hopefully for our sake, really, because we want a tight fight in the constructors. Of course, it seems to be getting away now from everybody else. Really, Alfa Romeo really putting a stamp down on the constructors. But yeah, it'd be nice to see them do well. I'm tipping Maxi to do okay here. Is he here tonight? Yeah, he's here. I should have checked before. He's here. I've said that before, and not being here, but. Yeah, I'm tipping him to do well. I feel like this is a track that might suit him. Look at his performances around similar kind of circuits this season. So yeah, hopefully, when Maxi does well, Willie Bum kind of follows his teammates' example. So hopefully, yeah.
Yep, echo what you just said. I can see one of the boys bouncing back this week. As we have got our first driver crossing the line, and Iron Jordan set to 1:12.8. And Belente beats that straight away over 1:11.8. Panicand also beats him as a 1:12.7. I mean, this is a shortish circuit, Biddle. Can you see drivers doing a double push lap potentially?
I think so. I think there's not really too much in terms of straights and engine power obviously required, apart from the final corner onto the pit straight. That is really where people will be using that engine deployment. But speaking to some of the drivers, I think we'll see a couple of drivers do 2, perhaps even 3 runs, especially this first session, when they might take a cool lap and carry on the same set of tyres, because the track obviously will only come to them now. So yeah, we could see that a feature, and perhaps drivers like I enjoy Panic End in a minute might be thinking they need to do that, considering the time that Nigel Biggles just put on the board.
Yeah, right. So just been on board with him on that. It's at 1:11.1. That's a fantastic lap from the Haas driver, who won down Spa last week. Although some of the drivers might have noted he did finish 2 laps down after he went back for Webb, and he did get the victory. And as you've called it as well, Biddle, Willie Bum is pretty much set a decent lap there. I'd say 1:11.5. I think that's pretty comfortable for getting through to Q2.
Yeah, that should see it through, and his teammate matches him there with a 1:11.5, so I kind of thought if Maxi kind of goes well, we see Willie Bum do well. So the two teammates matching each other at the moment, and Belente did do a second lap on the tyres and is now pushing on a third lap as well. So obviously trying to get some use out of this first set of tyres.
Yep, as you're speaking there, Adrian's gone the fastest overall for 1:10.9. So I'm surprised to see we're breaching the 10s so early, but that's a fantastic lap from Adrian there, who I must admit we have seen come into a bit of form in the past couple of races. He has probably had a bit of a rough start in the first half, and we have seen him struggle in the rain, but in the dry, he is pushing Snedden along.
Yeah, definitely. I think we know Adrian has got pace really to match Snedden. We know that those two kind of have, in terms of the dry, as you've just said, in the dry, those two do have a little bit of a gap to the likes of Nigel Piggle and Ragsy and Willicombe and Williams. So, yeah, expect them two to be towards the front again. Obviously, as you said, if it does stay dry, all the drivers getting laps in early on, so hopefully it is dry for Adrian's sake. Otherwise, it could be a Snedden walkover again. Interestingly enough, Snedden in the pit lane has currently selected the medium tyres. He could be toying with us because he does like to do that.
Yeah, that's right. As we know, Snedden likes to sit in the pit lane and come out for normally just a one run in Q1, save his tyres. But yeah, I'd be shocked to see him come out to mediums if he does. His teammate did come out of the pits and jumped straight back in, so I wonder if he's got a bit of damage there. Looking up and down the grid, most people have set a lap now. One driver would probably do need a call out, and I don't want to pile any pressure on, but it is his home race, OMTT Jerk. He is from the Netherlands, and do wish him all the best in his home race, and hopefully he can replicate what Max Verstappen did in the race last season. Hopefully, we haven't just controversy there.
Yeah. Hopefully for him, he has showed a bit of an upturn in form. We saw it last season. He was in the Tier 1 last season towards the end of the calendar. He kind of found a bit of improvement in form. So hopefully, as you said, for his sake, especially here at his home race, he can follow up and get a good result here.
Yep, as I've just gone on board with Aspinia, who's coming across the line again now. Does go quicker, and the second push lap is a 1:12.1. Hopefully he's got his followers. It is nice to see his followers in the chat if they are there. I haven't checked just yet, but he has got a very good backing behind him. I mean, this early in qualifying bid, what do you think the cut-off time is going to be roughly, do you think?
Oh, I knew you were going to pin that on me. Well, yeah, because it's usually me asking you, and you're usually quite not too bad at guessing. I mean, based on the times we've seen so far, I think the likes of Panic End and Espenia would definitely want to go again. 12-2. Diamond, obviously, not taking part in the session. He's already out, so we'll only lose 4 more drivers. No disrespect to Mr. Whippy or Ryan Jaw, but they do look a little bit further back from the rest at the moment. Same with Nedden in 12th place. So those 3 look to be the most in trouble, but the Espenio, Panic and Mongo group, they're going to need to go again at the minute. Depending if we get any more retirements, though.
Yeah, good shout there. That's probably somewhere that I'd look at is the 1:12.2, 1:12.1s. So yeah, Jarvis definitely won't go again. As I've been on lap of T-Jerk, he did get a purple sector 1, but we do know this game lies to us, so we'll wait and see what his time is as he crosses the line. Coming around the last corner now, which is an interesting corner because it is banked slightly. And I've seen a Ferrari lose it in the background. I believe is David Goldface.
Yeah, on an outlap, interestingly enough. So that's ruined his next lap, of course. His last lap, he's just lost his front wing as well, trying to turn around into the... He's not having a good time here. He's not having a good time.
David Goldface just perfectly demonstrated what I was about to say, where drivers can easily lose it on that banked corner. Don't know why. The car just goes on you, and yeah, David, thank you for the demonstration there. Luckily, didn't cause himself a DNF, but that's probably something that's going to play on the driver's minds during the race and the rest of qualifying. That you drop it there, okay, you are right by the pit entry, but especially in the race, you could potentially take a couple of drivers out with you as you do it.
I know it's so easy to do. It's really easy to do it on that final corner. You take a little bit too much curb in your round. A lot of these drivers running, I know from speaking to them, they're running a bit of a higher downforce setup. Obviously, naturally, given the track. Sometimes that just doesn't work out. It's great for qualifying, but you struggle in the race with that. Of course, they need speed down this straight. Yeah, this is really the only real overtaking place. There is a small DRS zone as well. I think it's down at turn 10, if I'm not wrong. I'm not too great at calling numbers, but I have tried to have a little bit of a look. There is another small overtaking area, but it's down into that turn 1, where in the race they're going to need the top line speed to get past drivers.
Yeah, you're very right on that. You've got to get that balance perfectly. As Panican must have had a spin as he's disqualified from the session.
That's gone well. He is currently facing backwards. Oh, and Tadas going past him there, as well as his AI continues on. He's lost it. That final corner, it's not showing as a final corner on the track map.
I didn't quite see where he lost it. But yeah, once again, that's a risk on this track that they mentioned right at the beginning of the introduction, that if a driver loses it, or just that little lapse of concentration, you're in the gravel, you're in a wall, you're facing the wrong way, and we do know how Codemasters likes to punish drivers facing the wrong way if they don't turn around quick enough.
I was just going to say, Panican's car disqualified, being controlled by AI, got in the way of about 3 drivers there starting a fast lap. So, just one to note, nothing that Panican could have done with that one to get out of the way. So hopefully those drivers didn't find it too much of an inconvenience to go around him.
Yep, definitely. Much what it didn't. As Snedden has proved both of us wrong, he did set his fastest time on the medium tyres, a 1:11.5, which is fantastic, and as we know, he'll go quick on them softs as well. So Snedden's looking very pacey around here again, as he has done for the entire season, to be honest. So I imagine he'll come in the pits now, retire, same as Nigel Piggle, who's already retired. As we have got 5 minutes left in the session. Locker's set himself a decent lap there as a 1:12.0, pretty much 1:12 flat, same as TJ. David Lowell faces the only driver that hasn't set a time at this point, as Adrian goes quicker as 1:10.9. So I am riding on board with David Lowell faces the Enter Sector 2, which is a pretty tricky sector as well, especially set of corners to come up to.
Yep. Very tricky set of corners, I was going to say, for David Lowface. William was time from the station in the pits there. David, a bit under pressure here though, 4.5 minutes to go the session. He's got to get the time on the table here, and the final few corners is so easy to invalidate on, so hopefully he can hang on here around the final few corners.
Yep, definitely. As we see him navigate it, there's just one final corner you want to avoid the inside curb there. It unsettles the car. Nice and easy down this banked corner. Put his foot down, DRS open, takes it really nice and clean. Sets himself a 1:11.7, which I imagine he's going to be over the moon with that, just behind his teammate.
Yeah, it's a good time. Valente supposedly doing his lap on 4 lap old tyres. But yeah, David Lopez right behind him, should be through with that 1:11.7. We are getting down now. We lost Panican, who didn't get the timing, was disqualified, so we're only going to lose 3 more, and the driver at risk of it is a Spenio on that 1:12.1, as I mentioned. So I imagine we'll see the likes of him, Mbongo, and I'm not good out there in a minute, and probably T-Jerk as well will want to go again for sure.
Yep, definitely. One interesting thing here, I'm not sure what the game is having us on, is that Neda is on a 5 lap old soft.
He is on 5 lap old softs, so now he's coming in the pits to get rid of those 5 lap old softs.
I mean, fair play to keep going in. He hasn't let himself much time to get in the pits here, put a fresh start and then get back out, so probably not nearly pressure himself, the Aston Martin driver is. we haven't really seen much of Ned Air from what I remember, so I'm not quite sure what pace he has got tucked away.
He's not having the best of seasons so far since joining us. Couple of, well, low place finishes so far, really, for him. 11th and 13th. Not got a point so far in Tier 3. I was just going to mention, actually, in the last 6 races, we've had 6 different winners. So that's quite a good showing for Tier 3, really. I can probably bet there'll be a repeat one today, though. But it's good showing. It probably shows how just competitive this field is, really, with 6 different winners.
Yeah, it says, obviously, as some people might know, as I mentioned, that, Iron George, apologies for that, Iron George dropped it trying to do a push lap, coming out of 4, 5, I'm going to say. Once again, another banked corner, just got a bit too happy on the throttle, and just spun it into the wall.
Yeah, so easy to do there. We've seen it in the races last season as well, especially the Tier 1 race. I think it was very close to there. I'm Not Good apparently has left the session after coming into the pits.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. If you don't mind trying to get him back into the game.
Nah, we'll leave him out.
Yeah, right. So David Lawface retired from session. So we are only going to lose one more driver actually. Unfortunately, we had 2 drivers retire, crash out. One driver get disqualified, and I think Diamond's got a qualifying ban. So that's why I didn't see him come out.
We should never say Stuart. You should never say qualifying ban. It's almost your job to know if he has a qualifying ban, but I think he does. I'm assuming that's why he retired early on. But yeah, Neda now trying to put a lap in. He's got a Spenio and Wongo to try and beat at the moment. Thankfully, I'm Not Good is back in the session, but if all 3 of these drivers improve, he might find himself out of qualifying through no fault of his own.
Yeah, that's an absolute shame for Man Not Good. We have, even though he has had a bit of a rough time over the past couple of races, we know he is a very pacey driver. He did win in Austria. I think it was Austria he won anyway. And yeah, so we do know he's got the pace. So it'd be unfortunate to see him go, but it is out of his hands now. As Mongo is on another fast lap.
Yeah, Espenio is 6/10 up through sector 2 then, so this is looking good enough then to put him really up with the head of Tadas midfield maestro if he can get the last sector right.
Yep, we'll just ride on board and as it crosses the line here.
Oh wow.
And that's a cracking time from the Haas driver, that is.
Yep. Neda coming over the line as well. It's not good enough.
And that is, unfortunately, that means we've got our bottom 5 before all drivers finish now.
Yeah, Margo's backed off. It's got to go wide. I think he knew we weren't going to improve, but he doesn't need to improve. Fortunately for him, he's through by 26 thousandths of a second, so by the skin of his teeth, really. And I thought he'd do all right around here, Mongo. He's got some pace on his day. He can definitely get within the top 10. He's going to need to find some form in Q2, though, to get through to the final part of qualifying.
Yep, that's right. As Snedden has just left the session, if you wouldn't mind just dropping him an invite.
No.
He doesn't need any more points.
I could take a few backhanders now from the rest of the drivers on the grid, not agree by extension to this session. Where is he?
So yeah, so just as we wait for Mongo to be wheeled into the pits, as mentioned, we have got our bottom 5. So in P20 we've got Panic Hands, P19 we've got Diamonds, P18 we've got Mr. Whippy, P17 we've got Iron Jaw, and P16 we've got Neda. And we'll do the usual, let's look at the Twitch chat. As Snedden makes his way back in. So yep, so just the bottom 5 again. So Yeah, we've got Panic, Diamond, Mr. Whippy, Iron Joe, and Ned Air, who all leave us in Q1 as we are waiting to go through to Q2. Quick look in the Twitch chat. Nice to see some of the drivers in there. Hi to I'm going to say hi to you as well, Biddle there. Hi Locker, David Wellface, Yorkie, Silverside Boy, all nice to see you. Adrian, I'm not good. Nice to see you chat in the chat as well. I mean, this is an interesting one. I didn't realise that we had this on the go here, Biddle, but there must be a party here because we've got Party Laura here.
No, not Party Laura.
We've got Party Laura.
TJ, I can't remember the headbutt off a wall thing, so you're gonna have to say it. I don't know what that was.
Can you kick a ball against the wall and use your head to pop it?
No one says
she's
that.
Gonna tell me she's gonna tell me off for that because I've said that wrong. But yeah, no one says that.
You have to say it however she did it. It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It was unbelievable. The way that she actually said that. It's nice to see her in the chat again, of course. And to be fair, TJ, I was offered there. In the intermission between Snedden leaving, I was offered £10 to leave Snedden out of the race, and qualifying as well. It's not enough, really, £10. It's you can barely get your pint these days. So 20 maybe we were talking, but £10, no, it's not worth it. Not worth it. That.
I'm going to guess that was from his very good friend and rival Nigel Piggle.
I have no idea. I cannot incriminate the guilty party there. Don't want to incriminate the guilty party. We've got a joker, TJ, in the pit lane, selecting the wet tyres. If I just stop mentioning people's tyres in the pit lane, maybe they'll stop trying their get a bit of a shout out on the stream. But one important thing about the tyres is, TJ, it's a very even split between the medium and the soft tyres at the moment.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that it's a very nice split between the drivers. I mean, I don't know how the tyres are around here. I do know, been told from speaking to some drivers that you do not want to go on hard tyres at all. But I generally don't know what's the better tyre start on. Obviously, we know the mediums will go longer, and if there is early safety cars, it works in your advantage a little bit. But then the soft tyre, obviously, you get the better start, and once again, the early safety cars extend that stint out. So, what? Have you got any preferred tyre start on around here?
Absolutely no idea. Couldn't tell you. I have not got any clue at all in terms of strategy. The only thing I will say is that I do usually prefer to, if I can, to start on the mediums because it just gives you more flexibility in the race, of course, with safety cars and weather. If it is going to rain, don't think it will do. So all the drivers obviously will be on the softs. It might rain later on in the race, nobody knows, but yeah, I just like to go on mediums just for flexibility more than anything else.
Yeah, I'm the exact same, and I think most drivers are like that in the league where you do prefer the mediums if they can. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. We always see that the drivers come out set the times on mediums, and towards the end they all come out on softs. So it'll be interesting to see what you do here, because that might be a different strategy for around here potentially. As I am on board with Magsy, who is going to set the first time on the mediums. Opens his DRS, comes across the finish line, a 112 flat bang on.
It's not a bad time on mediums. Like I said, obviously the times are coming thick and fast now, but that's quite good, the 112 flat there. If most drivers go onto the softs though, he might need to change onto the soft tyres at that time.
Yeah, definitely. His Hobnob is 2 seconds behind him, and Mongo on the soft tyres, only a 112.1.
Yeah, not too bad. It's matching really the pace that we saw from him in Q1. Good time from Espenio there, though, 1:11.6.
Yeah, fantastic lap from there as well from his partner in the other Haas, Nigel, at 1:11.6 on the mediums. Only 3 thousandths behind him.
Yeah, not bad.
So that's a fantastic time. Midfield Maestro again. You haven't really. I think this is might be the second or third race from Midfield Maestro, but in his previous races, he's shown some fantastic pace, and he certainly hasn't been shy around here again.
Yeah, no, good results. Good results from him so far in the league. Got that win, of course. He is one of the drivers that got the different win out of the last 6 races in France, I think it was, if I'm not wrong. Hasn't followed it up with any points recently though, but yeah, as you mentioned, good time from him there, so showing some early pace with that time from Adrian, that 1:10.9. I mean, he's taking the mickey there a little bit, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I was just about to mention that myself, that he's just matched his soft tyre run in Q1. So he has emptied some of them sandbags out of his car for Q2, and obviously we know soft tyres will be quicker. So yeah, it just continues to back up there. He has shown a lot of he's shown fantastic form in the dry, Adrian is, and with that sort of pace, he could be knocking Senna off that pole place. As Valente comes around, sets to 1:11.3. T-Jerk only 1:12.5 on the mediums. He'll definitely won't go again. Davey Glowface struggling as well. He's only set 1:23.4 on 2 lap old mediums now. Snedden, interestingly, has chosen to come out on the soft tyre.
Yeah, I can't imagine he'll want to start on that. That's surely a bit of gamesmanship there from him. Snedden and Tadas both starting on the soft tyre. He's done it before. He has done the different strategy to the other front runners in previous races. But you know, given his pace, I mean, surely just all he needs to do for his championship really is just follow whatever the leaders do, and he's got the pace to really close it off with the points advantage.
Yeah, exactly. A 51 points gap, round 13. Surely he's got his eyes on that championship already in the trophy. Do you think it's too early for him to be thinking that sort of them sort of thoughts, or do you think with the point gap he's got that he is laughing?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, including this race, he's got 8 more. I think his championship lead, it has come down. It's not what it was. It was massive previously, but it's still quite healthy. 51 points now, I think 50 points, somewhere around there. So he's got basically 2 race wins in hand over second place, which is Locker, I think, at the moment. So yeah, he can definitely afford to take it a little bit easier. He can't quite come off the gas too much yet, but he will obviously gear more towards that mentality later on. Probably I want to say in about 3 rounds time, with 5 to go, he's kind of just trying to secure points to wrap up the title.
Yep, right. So he has been fantastic and been very consistent. Even if he hasn't been winning, he's been on the podiums. As an onboarded Tadas, actually, he went ahead of Snedden for this lap. He just set purple sector 1 through sector 2, which is a bit of a tricky section as mentioned. Goes wide onto the grass and validates his lap into the gravel. Not what the Alfa Romeo driver wanted. Not the form we've seen from Tadas really. As I'll jump to Snedden now, who just goes past him into the DRS. Purple sector 2 takes the next set of corners very nicely. All he's got to do now is really negotiate 2 more corners. Missed the inside curb here. Put his foot to the wall on the banked corner. Open his DRS up. Straight to the line and a 1:10.7. That's a fantastic lap from Snedden there, but only 2 times quicker than Adrian, who was on the medium tyres.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think there's some more pace to come out of Snedden with that time, because if that is his true pace, I think Adrian's got to be the certain the pole today, given that there is only 2.5 tenths between them on that different tyres. But you can never rule Snedden out. I think in all of his races this season, he's only not been on the podium 3 times. So that's fantastic for him. You can never. He always pulls the lap out of the bag. We've seen it in qualifying so many times this season, TJ.
Yeah, that's very true. Where we have seen him struggle through Q1, Q2, and as you mentioned, Q3, he pulls the lap of his life out, and yeah, he has missed the consistency and always up and around them podium places. As I'm on board of Tadas, who set purple sector 1 and 2. Just this last sector to navigate, which he keeps nice and clean. Once again, just avoid this inside curb and put his foot down this bank corner. Very nicely taken, DRS open, straight to the line, and sets a 1:11.5.
Yep, not a bad time on 2 lap old tyres. That I was just going to mention that Mongo has retired. He lost it on the back left-hander. Someone lost it there in Q1. I can't remember who. Short-term memory, but he crashed on the same corner. He's out of qualifying.
I mean, that's a shame for Mongo. You did mention it in Q1 like he was struggling, and he thought this would be a track that suits him. So to be P10 and out, and most likely going to miss Q3, and obviously he'll get his free tire choice, if I can get the words out properly. And yeah, it's probably not the place he wants to be. I mean, it is a bit of a follow track unless you're on that the main straight, really. So he could struggle to get the points today.
Yeah, he could do, definitely. It's a couple of other drivers that struggled at the minute, the Williams boys. Magsy went back out onto track on the same set of mediums he did his first time on. He had an off in the gravel. Obviously, he's come straight back in to put the soft tyres on, but they're not comfortable at the moment. 9th and 14th, both of them, so they need to put a good time in the last 4 minutes here.
Yeah, we did mention this at the beginning of the stream that the both of them in Belgium last week, they really struggled, and they lost really good points to McLaren, who closed the gap up to second place constructors, which is a bit of a shame because we were saying last week that both the Williams boys they normally bank to get to Q3. They've been really on form, but yeah, it looks like the past couple of races perhaps just aren't suiting their driving style.
Yeah, potentially. I thought this track would be more for them. I definitely know that they've both got more time in the lap. I mean, Williams set a faster time in Q1 than what we've seen there. And Magsy as well, we know he's got time on the soft tyre. If he can get the lap in, that's the problem now. They're under pressure. They've got to get the time in. There's fast drivers behind them that are currently going out of the session that will improve. So they do have to get a time in here with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, as I am on board of Willy Bum, who has got an Alpine in front of him, who is T-Jerk. I'm surprised he hasn't got out the way just yet. He is giving him a bit of a toe down this SDR straight here, but if T-Jerk isn't careful, he's going to hold Willy Bum up here as we continue on round with him. And yeah, rightly so, but Willy Bum's all over the back of T-Jerk here.
Yeah, it's a little bit noisy from T-Jerk, this one, and it has, yeah, as you mentioned, disrupted Willy Bum. And I think that might just go to the stewards, TJ, which you'll be glad to hear.
Yeah, he's only set a 1:12.1, so he's only gone 4 times quicker, and I do wonder how much time he lost just being stuck behind TJ there.
The worst part is he hasn't even backed off to get space for this lap, and now he's behind him again, but of course T-Jerk is on a fast lap, so he's under no obligation this time to get out of the way.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one from William. This is he has got a push. He can't afford to slow down, and he could back out now and perhaps cool the tyres down to go for another run. But
that's what he needs to do. That's what he needs to do now. He's only got 14% ERS, and he's not going to get any faster stuck behind this Alpine. He has to back off, surely. Cool the tyres down, build the ERS back up and go again, but they'll be horrible for the start of the race, these tyres now.
Yeah, definitely. So he has got a choice to make here, as he has backed off, but has he backed off too late? Or, I mean, I will just stay on board with him just to see what he does here. I don't think he's got the ERS to continue round again. He hasn't really put his foot down. No, I think that's Willy Bum out of Q2.
Yeah, he's in the pits.
He comes into the pits.
Yep. Oh dear. Will not be happy with that. Yeah. Not be happy at all. The irony of all that is that T-Jerk still has a chance to get through to the top 10 as well.
Yeah, that's yeah, as you mentioned, I expect to see something with the stewards about that. That was very, very naughty from TJ. He should have got out the way on that outlap. And he did hamper Willy Bum in sector 3 for definite. And yeah, that's the end of that. We'll wait to see what the stewards say about it. And it will be a shame for TJ to get through to Q3 and Willy Bum to go out, but we'll just wait and see as we look up and down the grid now. A driver I haven't really mentioned much of yet is FPR Locker, who, as TJ leaves the session, which isn't great because he's our host.
I just wanted to say, sorry, TJ. I will record that because TJ was coming through the final sector, then all of a sudden teleported into the pits. So I'm not sure if his car was actually in the way of Willy Bum or not on that final run. At least, it was on our screen, but I don't know if it was on his. It's uncharacteristic of TJ to do something like that in qualifying. That makes me question it.
Yeah, that's fine. We can use that as well. As Locker is struggling here, he was down in sector 2. He's got to have a fantastic sector 3 here. Opens his DRS straight to the line, and only just improves but stays P15. He'll be very disappointed with that. He was hoping for a bit of a bounce back this week and defend that P2 in the driver standings, but starting P15 round here, that's a bit of a nightmare.
It is, yeah, and Maven Maestro drops on the final corner. Oh, keeps it out of the wall. He didn't need to push though, because he was already through, but very nearly out of qualifying. But as you mentioned, yeah, very disappointing for Locker to be out. We never really see him go out in Q2 these days. Disappointing from P2 in the championship.
Yeah, definitely. As we wait for Maven Maestro to sort his car out, I will just quickly run through the 5 we are losing. Which is FPR Locker, Willy Bum, Mongo, TJ, and David Wallface, who is on tactical pole.
Yeah, only just misses out on Q3 as well, albeit the tyre difference, but not a bad showing from David Wallface there. And as you mentioned, tactical pole for the Ferrari man, so you can be happy with that session.
Yeah, definitely. As one thing, I'm just waiting for the results to come up, but I think Adrian went back out and set of softs instead of 110.6.
Yeah.
So he is matching what Snedden's doing. And yeah, right there it is, yeah. Adrian has matched Snedden's tyre choice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for the race. I don't think Adrian needs to do that. Only 3 drivers getting through on the medium tyres, but I mean, I think Adrian will have more pace. Now, obviously, the shorter the lap, the less the delta in terms of the tyres, but I think Adrian's got a bit of pace in there. But I think Snedden has too, so it'll be interesting to Q3 now.
Yep, definitely. As I will just quickly run back through the bottom 5 again, which is Locker, Willy Bum, Mongo, TJ, and David Wallface. One driver I haven't really mentioned much is Nigel Piggle, who got through on the mediums. I'm not quite sure whether he's got the pace to match Adrian and Snedden, but I do expect him up and around there.
Yeah, should be up and around there. We know that he's got race pace over qualifying pace, so potentially in the race things might go his way.
Yep, as we are waiting for a driver to ready up, whoever that may be. If you are listening to there we go. As we have just quickly looked back through the chat, and yeah, I can see that yourself and Party were having a good conversation. Yeah, David Wallface has balls. I'm assuming that's because he qualified P11. But tactical pole, still nothing wrong with that. That's the Yorkie and Cruiser. Nice to you as well, lads. So Biddle, I can see that we have got a poll for poll that's just gone up. I am going to do what you do to me normally on a weekly basis, and I am going to ask you, I'm going to be nice here, to pick a top 3 in any order?
I think it's got to be Snizzer and Adrian based on the pace we've seen so far. It's the third place, I think, because the question mark at the minute. It's between Valente and Piggle for me. I don't think Max has quite got it in his locker to into top three. I'll go with Valente. I think he'll pull it out the bag and he'll put that car on P3.
You heard it here. Get the words out. You heard it here first, folks. Nigel Piggle to miss out on the top three. Valente to get P3.
He'll love that. He'll love that. I'll go down low.
And yeah, I've got to agree. It's between Snedden and Adrian for pole. I can't pick a driver at the moment in time. Both would just push each other very well. And whoever gets it will be very deserved of it. As we have got the drivers going really nice and early as you expect, and our first driver will set a lap will be Tadas, who's just about making his way to the final corners now. And we will ride on board home and do a full lap as he opens his DRS, foot down, goes through to turn 1, keeping it nice and close to the curb here, which he has done very nice. Nice exit from the curb. Keeps it nice and tight through this next sector. Up this left banked corner. Very nice from the Alfa Romeo driver again. Now it's just a case of keeping your foot to the floor. A few little turns here and there, but nothing to challenge your driver. Get prepared for this the top of the hill, which he takes very nicely again. Keeps it off all the curbs, which can set the cars. Takes a little bit of curb there as you're meant to. Once again, keeps it nice and clean for these sequence of corners. Hits the curb slightly to rotate the car, DRS open, puts his foot to the ground through sector 2. 49.7 through sector 2. Now it's just about refocusing yourself, keeping your head down for these last few corners and avoiding this inside curve which can settle the car, which he does do. Very close to pulling it off track there, but does a very good job keeping it in. Foot down, DRS open. And our first time on the board is a 1:11.4 from Tadas.
The time from Tadas, Hobnob's dropped it on his hot lap, loses a front wing. Got Adrian over the line. There we go.
Yeah, Nigel Piggle must have had an issue on that lap of 1:17.3 from the Haas driver. He is pushing again by the looks of it. As we do continue down, see everyone else is going through a lap. Valente is coming through as a Spinier is out. Valente sets it 1:11.4. I mean, that looks like a weird place to drop it. We're just to ride on board with Valente, and it just looks like he's lost it coming out the curb.
Yeah, it looks like he's riding a little bit too far wide, perhaps a little bit on the dirt as well. He's throwing him onto the inside wall. Good time for midfield Maestro there, 1:11.3 to go fourth. And so as it stands, for me, it's Maxi that has that third place. Snedden, obviously, we expect to improve on that, and he's trying to do so now. He's 3.6 seconds up on his previous lap. So whether he's just took an extra lap to try and warm the tyres up, we'll shortly find out.
Yeah, as I'm on board with I'm not good to see what he's doing. Hasn't set a lap yet. Yeah, he's pushing it, coming through the final corners now. Avoids the inside corner very nicely. Runs it through, puts his foot to the ground. DRS open. 1:11.2 from I'm not good, so it's really close as we will jump back on with Snedden as he's coming around the final corners now. Opens his DRS up and sets a 1:10.6 from 2 lap holds off, so he's got to have better pace than that when he puts a fresh set on. But this is going to be close. I mean, look at Nigel Piggle there, 1:10.7 as well.
Yeah, he shut me up there, hasn't he, with that one? 1:10.7. He'll be laughing to himself. I know he will be. Like I said, in that time, good lap from him. Really, he's got close. He's got closer to the top two, I'll say. Not quite close enough. definitely closer. Bear in mind, obviously, Snedden and Nigel Piggle's laps, I think, were on an extra lap as well. Not too sure on the tyre wear, but I don't think it's too much, but it's definitely would have helped the lap time. So there's still perhaps a little bit more to come in the next runs from those two.
Yeah, definitely. It is going to be too close to call this, as Tadas and Hobnob have decided to come out the pits already for another run. Hobnob, as you mentioned, he did lose his front wing and he's got that replaced and back out. But not what the drivers surely want, not in the Q3 where they've already burned a set of tyres up and they're using the next set pressure. But surely this is going to be just the one run for the two drivers or maybe a second lap.
Well, they're out of sync now as well with the rest of the group, so they're kind of running around, as you mentioned, by themselves. So yeah, it will give them space. It might mean they get in the way of the next rules of everyone else, but yeah, they might only get one run in now, especially Tadas, who we know has already done a run. Hob might be on the set of tyres that did the first time round. So he might get another one in Tadas, though I'm worried about going so early again.
Yep, definitely, as we're right on board with Hobnob, who is on his lap, takes the left bank corner really well here, goes through the little bit of corners, but doesn't challenge an F1 driver really too much, but it's this uphill bit where the drivers can struggle if you miss your braking points. Very nicely done, keeps it off all the curbs, which unsettles the cars. Once again, as he hits the curb, I mean, I don't know how much you've ran this circuit, Bill, but through that corner Hobnob's just gone through, the curbs are a bit bumpy, and if you stick on them, the car sort of glues to it.
Yeah, you have to run wide and get the best angle for the corner, but as you mentioned, you do get stuck to it, and it will impede you trying to make the apex of the corner. So we'll see now as he comes around. Obviously nothing to compare it to really with his own lap time, but we'll see how far this can put him up the grid, provisionally anyway, before the next lot of drivers runs, and it's only enough to stay bottom of the timing screen, then a 1:11.9 from him.
Yeah, I can only imagine being stuck on curbs lost him a lot of times. He did look like he almost lost the car, like the back end almost slipped on him. As we have seen Tadas go P4 and a 1:10.9, so fantastic lap from the Alfa Romeo driver again. I don't think he's pushing right now, so perhaps he's cooling the tyres down to maybe go again. Snedden's come out early as well, so perhaps he fancies 2 laps. Maybe the 2 laps do him perfectly. But all the other drivers are still in the pit. We are going to see a bit of out of sync from the drivers. I think Nigel Piggle's on his way out now as well. Yes, he is. As we will ride on board as Snedden as he prepares himself for his first of assumed 2 runs. As he puts his foot down, yeah, through the final corners. DRS wide open and starts his timed lap.
Yeah, Adrian finally out on the circuit now, so I mean he will get 2 in if he gets one quickly enough. Obviously it depends how quickly he goes on his out lap. Snedden keeping it clean so far, bit of oversteer there, they're nearly losing the back end, but did correct it in time. Would have cost him though a little bit of time. We're about to find out through the first sector. He's still a 10th up on his time despite that small mistake.
Yeah, fantastic sector from Snedden that is, and yeah, as you mentioned, he did look like he lost the car, so he's definitely got more time in there if he wants a second run. Keeps it nice and clean through sector 2 as well. Nice and tight to this curve with DRS open now. Perhaps could nick in a bit of a slipstream from Adrian there, but wouldn't been too much. Almost 2 temps up now in sector 2. So I mean, he is setting the time to go provisional pole. Assuming he keeps it nice and clean through his corners, which he does. Foot down to the ground, DRS open. And it is a 1:10.4 from Snedden. What a fantastic lap that is. As I will jump straight to Nigel Piggle, who is on the fast lap here. if you want to keep an eye on Adrian, let us know how he's doing in sector times better.
Yeah, it's Snedden getting way out the way. Doesn't want to give him any toe at all there to Adrian.
As Nigel Peggle is...
Adrian's binned it. Spinned it. He's got no front wing. And he's done what 2 drivers have already done. I think it was Mongo. I think it was Mongo in Q2. Out of that bank, left-hander just got way too fast on the curb into the wall, staying out of the way of everybody else. Very respectful, but now we'll have no chance to challenge Snedden for that pole position. So it's pretty much in the bag for Snedden, unless there's a surprise name to come and take pole position from him.
Yeah, Nigel backed out of his lap, slowed down, cooled his tyres down, and is pushing back around again. So we'll see what he can do now. Going through sector 1, keeps it nice and clean. Hopefully he doesn't do what Adrian's done just. No, he doesn't. Keeps it nice and clean through there. And he's just about to hit sector 1, so we'll see what his time is. He's 1.5 tenths up. As we continue through with him, keeps it nice and tight through this, for the next set of corners. Yep, lovely that is. Keeps it nice and tight, hitting all the apexes he needs to. Puts his foot to the ground, DRS open in sector 2. As Adrian slows down, perhaps gives it Nigel a little bit of a toe, but not too much. He has lost time, Nigel has there. He is only just over a tenth up now. As we continue around with him, keeping it nice and clean through his last few corners, which he does very nicely. Foot down, DRS open. I'm not sure whether this is quick enough for pole. And no, he stays P3.
Yeah, it was that sector 2 that let him down. It might have been enough for second place without that small mistake, but it is only third fastest. Provisionally for Nigel Piggle-Balente, he's only up slightly through sector 1 as well, but he's coming up now to the end of sector 2, so we'll see if he can challenge that time of past driver.
Yep, definitely, as he's just come through sector 2 and he is only a tenth up, so he does need to find a couple of attempts for this last sector, for the last few corners. Keeps it nice and clean again, through the Planet corner. DRS is open. And stays P4. Magsy's coming around the final corners now. Let's see if he can improve early, perhaps going to move himself up the grid. As the Williams driver crosses the line now. Just misses out on P5. And that is it.
Oh, Valente. Ruined my prediction by 2 tenths to Nigel Piggle in the end. I'll take 1, 2 and 4 though, that's not bad going. But yeah, I mean, Nigel Piggle's pace surprised me there. I didn't think he would have enough to be... I know we didn't see the best from Adrian losing that fastest run, but I didn't expect to see him within a tenth and a half of the pole position time, that's for sure.
Yeah, what's interesting here is that Snedden and Adrian start on the softs, but Nigel Piggle's on the medium tyres.
Yeah, so they're getting a better start, obviously, off the line. We might see some handbags down into turn 1 though, between them. I imagine Snedden won't leave Adrian much room, but Nigel Piggle can go long here and do obviously all sorts of strategy and hope that he can get amongst the top 2.
Yep. So our top 10 for tonight is Espinio, Midfield Maestro, Hobnob, I'm Not Good, Magsy, Badass, Valente, Nigel Piggle, Adrian, and our championship leader, Snedden on pole.
It'd be interesting if we could get a weather update. It looks cloudy, at least on the Saturday in game. We'll see what it does on the Sunday in game, but Adrian didn't even need the wet there to undo himself. Just needed a big stonking curb, that's all he needed. Ruined his qualifying there. Well, he still got second place. It's a nice sunny start then for the race.
Yeah, which Adrian and I imagine most of the drivers are happy about. I haven't driven this track in the wet, but it's bad enough in the drive how slippery it is, so I can imagine how worse it is in the wet. As we have lost to Snedden.
Wow.
Get your bribes in quickly.
It's an inconvenience. Someone's ready to, of course.
Oh,
the minute Snedden goes. I mean, why not? Oh dear.
Adrian did curse it in the Twitch chat, and he did say someone press A, and someone's done it.
Well, I think TJ, have we not changed the rules now that we don't we ban drivers that coerce others into breaking the rules? I'm pretty sure we.
I think we do.
I'm pretty sure we do. There's something with that.
I think we do. Yeah. So unlucky, Adrian. As the cars get away, and Snedden obviously flies away as his AI. I'll run through the top 20 as Biddle tries to get Snedden back in, and he has rejoined, which is great news. So if I do the bottom 10, Biddle, will you do the top 10?
Oh well, I mean, how can I refuse such a great offer?
So in P20 we've got Panic End, P19 we've got Diamond, P18 Mr. Rippy, P17 we've got Iron Jaw, P16 we've got Neda, P15 we've got Locker, who will be hoping for a bit of decent race here. P14 we've got Willy Bum, P13 we've got Mongo, P12 we've got TJ, and on tactical pole we've got David Baldface.
Yeah, as we lose a Snedden one more time, it seems like he's having connectivity issues. Hopefully he can get back in by the start of the race. But the top 10 then, this is the drivers obviously that have to start on the tyres they did in Q2. So it's Spenio P10 on the softs, Midfield Maestro on the mediums, Hobnob in the 8th on soft tyres for Red Bull. I'm Not Good in 7th for McLaren, doing well to get through on the medium tyres and not too shabby in terms of a starting position there. Maxi, Tadas and Valente 6th, 5th and 4th, all on the soft tyres. Then it is Nigel Pickle on the mediums, who will surely try and do something with strategy against the top two. I see that as the only way that he can get really any higher on that podium today. And it is Adrian and Snedden on the front row, but is it going to be Snedden in his car is the question.
We can only hope, because we do know from previous races that when this normally happens, the car does stay on the start line, and it would be unfortunate if Nigel Pickle rounds the back of him, along with other drivers, but we won't think that Snedden will get away, and it'll be a nice battle into turn 1, as all the drivers are lining back up to go on the grid, and we'll shortly be getting the 5 lights, and touching wood that Snedden is in his car. As the cars are now on track. I'm not sure what we're waiting for here. Yep. And as we ride on board with Snedden, we've got the 5 lights, and they're off. It does look like Snedden's in his car, does get a bit of a poor getaway, but do I just keep the lead? Battle down to turn 1. Adrian dives it, gets the place. Valente has taken over Nigel Pickle. Snedden gets his lead back. Nice and clean from the T3 drivers again, as we've come to see. As it does look, we've got spinning.
Chaos at the back. Chaos in the back. It's Valente that went round. Nigel Pickle tapped him. Valente in the back of the field now as well. Hobnob also spinning in that as well. Bit naughty though from Nigel Pickle there.
Oh, Nigel, very naughty from yourself there. As Iron Jaw picks up a 3-second time penalty already. Looks like he's dropped it as well now. We've still got all the drivers in the race. Snedden has kept the lead of Adrian behind him and Nigel Pickle.
Oh, Maxi's round. Maxi's round from P6.
Oh no.
Oh dear. That's not gone very well for him there. It's not gone very well for Williams so far. There's also a front wing missing from midfield Maestro. I'm wondering if those two came together. They're running pretty close together on track. And the Mercedes now without a front wing. And Maxi, of course, we saw in the gravel.
Yeah, such a shame for the guys there. But one thing I have noticed straight away from lap 1 is the pack is so far apart already.
Yeah.
As I'm expecting quite a few drivers jumping in the pits here. Yeah, we've got Mongo and Willy Bum. There's Maestro. Iron Jaw looks like he's coming in as well. I was expecting more than that, but yeah, what a shame for Valente from the start.
Yeah, big shame, big shame. I saw it. It was Valente was on the inside of Nigel Piggle just as they come to that right-hander just before the bank left. We've got an Aston Martin backwards as well. It's panic end. He still makes up 4 places from his qualifying position, but now runs 16th and back of the pack of the main runners anyway. Who's yet to pit. But yeah, Valente was just turned into by Nigel Piggle.
Yeah, as sorry to interrupt there, but Tadas has just spun it. Ooh! I think a lot of settings are wrong because cars have just ghosted straight through Tadas.
What are you on about? It's a street circuit. look at the traffic lights. There's a bus stop there. Can't you see the pensioners waiting for the bus stop there, TJ? Come on.
I think Tadas braced for what I thought was coming. He tried to turn it round and then Aston Martin come around the corner. But luckily ghosted through. Luckily a lot of the settings are incorrect. But Tadas fights another day. As I jump back through to the front, and the top 3 are just they're all within a second of each other, pulling away from the pack, which is what we sort of expected from qualifying in a way.
But I expected Nigel Piggle to fall further back than this on those mediums. He's doing a stellar job at the minute on the opening 3 laps here to keep up with the back of these 2.
Yeah, as I have just noticed that David Waldface, he had a fantastic start, comes off to P7 and it looks like he's just had a spin because he's down to P15.
Yeah, well, it's gone horribly wrong, hasn't it? These opening 3 laps from about Valente down, really. Horrible start. Valente trying to get onto the back of the pack now. He's just behind Mr. Whippy. I'm sure he'll be able to clear that Alpine pretty quickly and set after some points, hopefully, that he can salvage from this race.
Yeah, there's a bit of a battle going on between Magsy and Ned Air. Magsy takes an overtake on the inside of the banked final corner. Very brave from the Williams driver there, but that puts him up to P9 now. Fantastic race again from Magsy there. He needs a good race here for the Williams team. As I jump back towards the front, Nigel Piggle has got the gap down to 4 tenths to Adrian here. Maybe these soft tyres just aren't working for the front. Oh, as Nigel Piggle almost loses it and drops it onto the grass, but keeps it clean. And that's pulling back out of the DRS zone.
Yeah, it can be crucial that. I don't think the DRS is massively powerful round here. So he should hopefully be able to close for his sake back into that DRS zone, but he has done that now initially, but he's right on the cusp really of falling back off these 2 now.
Yeah, definitely. He can't make another mistake like that. Very skillful from the driver there to not lose it on that bare grass he dropped on. Just needs to gain his refocus again. But the pack itself, I mean, I'm assuming drivers are struggling because the pack's so spread out.
Yeah, it is spread out. I mean, we've seen about half a dozen drivers spin it. We've seen a couple of drivers clash and fall to the back of the pack. Nigel Piggle come out of that and still runs P3, but some drivers really have gained through that. FPR Lock has made up 9 places, Diamond's made up 11. So both of them 2 really gaining from the early incidents here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, FPR Lock, I've just been on board with him. He is closing, he is over the back of Spinio there. But it does look like these soft tyres aren't really clipping in. It looks like the medium tyre runners are having more enjoyment out of their tyres. As you mentioned, I'd expect some of these soft tyre runners down the field a lot more, especially the top 2, and it just doesn't look like they've got the pace out of the tyres they want.
Well, the strategy at the start of the race, at least what the game was saying anyway, was a soft to hard, which obviously we'll see whether those drivers up front do go for that, but that was supposedly the fastest way to go about the race in terms of strategy. Nigel Piggles kept his options open by starting on the mediums, and yeah, maybe these soft tyres just aren't a very good race tyre. And obviously, that might not bother Nigel Piggle then, if he might not even choose to run the soft tyres if he can now and just go straight to the hards.
Yeah, that, as you mentioned, he's kept his options open there. I have heard the hard tyres aren't very good around here, but maybe they are better than the soft tyres. And we'll have to wait and see what the drivers do there. FPR are locked still over the back for a spin here there. It was too far back to do a move on the first DRS straight. But as we've discussed, this is a bit of a follow track, and it's all about just finding your time. Which looks like we've got another spin around, which is Diamond, I believe. Keeps it out of the way, which is very lucky. But yeah, we are. It is becoming a bit of a DRS train potentially. As Locker does look like he's getting moved on. No, too far back again. Locker's getting frustrated here for definitely behind the spin, yeah.
Yeah, we will. It's probably what I said earlier on. The overtaking opportunities few and far between around here. I think you might get the job done down to turn one. It just looks like what we were saying, TJ, that the soft tyres just aren't working for Espenio either. And yeah, Locker looks like he's going to try and get the move done here.
Yep. Pulls from the inside, sends it. Espenio gives him the space he needs, which is very nice, clean. Driving from the T3 drivers as we've seen all season. This battle's going to continue through into the bank's left corner. This is fantastic driving from the two drivers. Yeah, and Locker gets out ahead of Espenio, who pulls back to the reset corners.
Well, if he could have a personal highlights reel, he'll be adding that one to it, that's for sure. That's a great little take from Locker there, the best one I've seen from him this season. I think they're side by side for 3 or 4 corners there. Brilliant not to come together, but we'll see if Espenio can bite back now with the DRS.
Yeah, definitely. Perhaps that's all he needs is to get a DRS, keep them soft tyres going. Although he has got TJ all over the back of him as well, so we'll see if TJ makes a move. No, he doesn't think spare of it. But yeah, it's there isn't many battles. I think this is the closest battle we've got on track currently. I'm looking up and down the grid quickly.
Well, Adrian's looking to make a move for the lead here. Sorry, TJ is right behind, said he just weaved to the inside into turn 1, got within 2/10 there, but has had to settle back behind him. But he's looking a bit racy than Snedden at the moment.
Yeah, good spot that is, and Nigel Pegel still keeping up with these two gents, and I imagine he's getting frustrated as well. And then the tyres sat behind these two. He wants a bit of fresh air just to help out and set his own pace. As it looks like we've got a drive around in Ned Air. Yep, he's spun it going into turn 3 or 4. Locker keeps it going again. And drops it as he comes on the exit of the corner as well. So them soft tyres are feeling really hot currently for the Aston Martin driver. Hopefully he doesn't put up David Blowface here, which he doesn't, lets him through. As we have got another spinner.
Iron Jaw, I think, as well.
Oh yeah, some of these drivers just aren't enjoying
the TJ as well. Dear, and Iron Jaw's now stuck on the curb at the back. And he's not ghosted either. Oh no, now he has. And it's a safety car for the stuck car of Iron Jaw. Who's now retired.
Iron Jaw hit. Oh no.
Well, I think the problem was for Iron Jaw there, he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. He was stuck on the curb, he couldn't move. Could have reset the track, could have retired on track, but yeah, that curb somehow beaching the AlphaTauri there.
Yep, perhaps the only good thing that was going for him was that it didn't look like he was ghosting, but that ghosting was on, so drivers probably could have avoided him. But safety car is out. And I imagine all the drivers in the soft tyres are going to jump in to put a set of hards on potentially.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Snedden and Adrian come into the pits here from the lead. Safety car obviously hasn't picked them up yet, but obviously will drive into a delta until the leader is picked up by the safety car. As you mentioned, yeah, some drivers coming in for the hard tyres now. TJ has pitted for the mediums. So too has Belente. And Magti supposedly has come in and put the softs on again.
Yeah, commit himself to a 2-stop strategy, which is really strange. Perhaps doesn't want them hard tyres, but you would have thought he'd try to pick a tyre that go to the end potentially. Perhaps he's banking on another safety car, as you predicted, Snedden is in the pits, followed in by Adrian, and Nigel Piggle continues on them 8-lap-old mediums.
That's the best thing you can do for his race now. I called it at the start. The only way Nigel Piggle was going to get anywhere further up the podium was to do something different on strategy, and now he can kind of dictate the pace at the front. We know his tyres are good. He's now got 2 McLarens in second and third, as well as a little bit more of a buffer back to Sneddon and Adrian. So hopefully they hold them up for a little bit longer, and Nigel Piggle can get away at the front.
Yep, definitely. Although I've noticed that Sneddon even got on the medium tyres, do you think they could last 26 laps?
No, absolutely not. That's got to be a 2-stop, unless we have some really extended safety car here, or later on, those medium tyres will surely not make it till the end from here. And Sneddon's really good at tyre management. Really good. We know we've seen him stretch a set of mediums 20 plus laps before, albeit at a different circuit, of course. But we know he's good on tyre management, so he might try it. Might try it if we get another safety car.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for Sneddon, who, everything disastrous, he doesn't win here today. He has got that 51-point gap to second place. But obviously, he'll want to continue extending that lead out if he can. As the driver's getting really close back here. I've just seen an Aston Martin behind Sneddon. Yeah, an Aston Martin behind Sneddon there, almost smacked into the back of him.
Panic ends, isn't it? I think he's a lap down. So that's not going to help Adrian's restart. Unless he wants to find a way to get through to safety car.
Oh, there we go. He's trying it. He's trying it.
No, thinking better of
it.
Yeah. Something I was going to say. So obviously 27 laps left to go here. Magsy has to do another pit stop. He's not going to get a softs till the end. The safety car's going to go on here for another lap or two, so by the time they get running, it might be about 23 laps to go. So it might be possible then, especially if we get a later safety car, which is a very good chance, but it might be possible then for those medium tyre runners to take until the end. Something really controversial in the chat, which I've noticed, TJ. Nigel Piggle always playing the martyr, isn't he? He's gone with, if Sneddon leaves again, can't rejoin. Based on new guidance, I think, that was issued around drivers' connectivity. If a driver leaves 3 times, TJ, I think the rule is they can't rejoin. I think I'm right in that as well. I think it was released today or yesterday or something.
Yeah, you are right. I issued that rule.
Yeah.
I do apologise, Sneddon.
What's the punishment? What's the punishment for that then, TJ? Because I don't. Was it on there? I didn't read the full post.
There isn't necessarily punishment, but it says that if a driver leaves 3 times in quali and the race, they basically won't get invited back in to take control of the car. So they effectively DNF their own race.
Yeah. Unless, of course, Tadas throws an invite to his teammate. We might have to rethink about some kind of punishment there for the next race, but yeah, trust Nigel Piggle to be trying to find an easy way to get rid of the drivers ahead of him.
I mean, that's tactical thinking, as Nigel. I'll give you that one, lad. But yeah, it is. I mean, hopefully Sneddon stays for the rest of the race. We don't want to see a driver down, obviously.
Well,
we do want to see entertainment.
I've got inside information from the man himself. James Sneddon says, I haven't got any invites from anyone. I've been joining off Magsy this whole time.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the lobby host has set the settings perfectly, as per. I think we need to have a look at the lobby settings and remind the hosts that it is a locked lobby.
Well, I can tell you, TJ, at approximately 4:30 today, the lobby hosts were reminded of the settings. Good notes have been taken. Good notes have been taken of the lobby settings. There is a bus stop I can see on track, TJ, so it's a street circuit.
Is that the bus stop I've seen Panican try and stop at? Left forward,
yeah. Yeah, I think there's a zebra crossing around the next corner as well, actually. So, I think goes into
as a safety car has decided it wants to come in. We have got lapped cars in between all these, but imagine it'll be a bit of a pain on the restart, but as ghosting is on, they'll be able to just go straight through the cars, which isn't ideal. But Nigel is back in the pack up now. He isn't probably going to do what Snedden does and leave it to the line, but he is cutting this very close as the safety car still hasn't come into the pits.
He's going to take him right up to the line, I imagine, with the opportunity down into turn 1 for those behind him.
Yep.
Oh!
Oh, Lando Goods dropped it! Oh my! Nigel Pill gets us away as one of the McLarens does drop it. I mean, that was an interesting restart there, but it's nice and clean for the best of the drivers. If ghosting wasn't on, that would have caused a nightmare, which we all wanted to see.
Oh, well, I'm not sure we all wanted to see that, especially the 19 drivers still in the race. Yeah, I'm not good dropping it under safety car restart straight into the pits for a set of hard tyres. What a shame.
Yeah, as Ned Air calls it quits and retires in the pits, the lad has had enough and doesn't want to continue on, which is fair enough. As the rest of the pack is very nice looking along. Once again, we've seen that gap build up between the top 4 and they're pulling away, and Blockers doing a fantastic job to keep on the back of Nigel here, but Snedden's all over the back of him currently as well.
Yeah, 10 lap pressure tyres will do that to him, and we know that Snedden and Adrian have got a natural pace really over FPR or Locker. Only slightly, not perhaps the deltas that we've seen between other drivers in the field, but those tyres coupled with that will surely make it a very short time before Snedden and Adrian are past him and onto the back of Nigel Pickle once again.
Yep, definitely, as I've just jumped on board of Magsy, who has just done a nice overtake on the Spanier into turn 1 there. Very nicely clean. And the Spanier did just tap the back of Magsy ever so slightly, but no damage was done. Fantastic move from Magsy and the wins drive up to P5.
Yeah, yellow flag out Mongo.
Yeah, he's what a shame for Mongo. I mean, you called it in qualifying that you thought it's going to be a trap for Mongo, and he's normally really strong, but he really hasn't had a good time on quali all the race, has he?
To be honest, he's not had the best of seasons for him. He's got some points finishes on the board. Don't make no mistake about that. Hasn't finished any higher than 5th, unfortunately, I don't think. But yeah, looks like he's been in wars again here, and points from him will be a real struggle from here.
Yep, most certainly. As I come back on board the top 4 again, and Blockers pulling back from Nigel and Snedden to over the back of Locker here. I wonder if he'll try and move into turn 1. No, he's just too far back. Snedden's biding his time, as you would expect from a championship leader. As Tada spun it on the straight as well.
Yeah.
He's jumping into the pits once again. I think we begged Tadas up, and he really hasn't enjoyed this track as well, which is a shame for Alfa Romeo team.
Straight into the pit lane. I'll see if it's for a new front wing. It is indeed. So we have one Alfa Romeo not having as good of a day as the other, isn't it?
Yep, definitely, but it's not going to damage the constructors. They have got a massive gap between themselves and Williams, so instead of scoring good points here, Adrian's done a bit of a cheeky overtake there by the looks of it. And Snedden I missed the overtake, but it looks like Snedden might have been a bit wide, and Adrian took the opportunity and went past him. But Mags is caught up to the back of this pack as well on them soft tyres. So we'll see how he handles them soft tyres, but there is a bit of a potential DRS training for his top 4. Don't really start moving it from Magsy backwards.
Yeah, Locker's just dropped out of DRS on Nigel Pickle now, so that might put him under pressure from Adrian down to turn 1, and there we go, gets the overtake done. Bit of a clean move there for Adrian, given the tyre difference and the DRS as well.
Yeah, Snedden, it looks like he's having a bit of an issue with that final corner, because Magsy goes right up to the back of it. But I think it was might have been a bit of a bad exit, so he was just close to the back of Locker there, but this battle's going to continue on for a little while now. It's probably the close spot we've got, as Mr. Wiki has unfortunately dropped it, and there is another safety car.
Yeah, he's done what we've seen so many times this evening already, and yeah, put it into the wall on that bank there, Tanga, Handa, I should say. Couldn't get the words out there as I was trying to get I was trying to get Mongo back into the session. So yeah, big shame for him there.
So Biddle, if you were in the position of Adrian or Snedden and you won 5 lap old mediums and the safety car is out and you're just under halfway through the race, would you come in for a fresh sort of mediums or hards, or would you try to take these tyres to the end now?
Well, Nigel Pickle's got no choice now but to come in, surely.
He has just come into the pits, faked it, then come straight back out.
No, that's a silly decision.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he wouldn't get rid of the tyres at this point.
That's a very silly decision. You really...
Same. I was going to say, same as Lockie, he's stayed out as well. Surely these medium tyre runners want to get rid of him and use this opportunity under the safety car to put a set of hards on.
Yeah, I mean, he must be trying to go to the softs, but we saw really the soft tyre wasn't a very good tyre in the race. Obviously, they'll have the advantage over the other medium runners at the end of this one. But, you know, Adrian instead couldn't make the softs work earlier, and the medium tyre runners did have the advantage. It's a free pit stop, it's a cheap pit stop. Nigel had a gap that he could have slotted into as well, so he wouldn't have fallen right to the back. And we're going to tick over to lap 18, potentially 19 here. And yeah, that's a big missed opportunity for me, for Nigel and Locker there.
Yep, as Nigel is in the Twitch chat and he says, it's a smart decision, we want hards.
Yeah. Well...
as I think Adrian has just done Locker dirty. Has he? No, he hasn't. I thought Adrian overtook Locker on the safety car there, but I think it's just how the drivers were lining up. But yeah, I'm not sure whether I'd take the cheap pit stop as you mentioned. Is Locker does decide to come into the pits now, and I'm unsure why he didn't do that the first time round. So he's just going to come out back to the back now.
Yeah, he'll lose a little bit more, obviously, in terms of track position. Not too much, obviously, in terms of time, but he'll come back out just after Tadas now. I think he'll beat Hobnob. Mongo, should say. Mongo's AI. Yeah. Could have come in the lap before and made up so many more places, but it's damage limitation now. He's got a set of hards now he can run till the end. Can't imagine now we're going to see those medium runners get rid of those. So he's got a lot of work to do to get back in the points here.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see how much this not pitting the safety car will hurt Nigel. Obviously, he has got a lot of work to do. We have seen that there isn't many overtake opportunities, but you can overtake. And we have seen the pack stretch out, so that's perhaps always relying on a bit here that they're building enough a gap up between the gap at the pack to slot back in on a set of softs and just build that gap back up to front. As the safety car is in this lap, and once again Nigel will back the pack up, and hopefully no drivers drop it as we try and take the safety car restart this time.
Yeah, touch wood. I don't want to curse anyone there. I'm not good as back in his car though. Definitely won't want to repeat that first safety car restart.
As Nigel has played it more tactical this time, he is slowing down a lot more, letting the safety car get a little bit more ahead. He has those 2 championship rivals behind him, Adrian Snedden, and it'll be hard to catch these 2 sleeping. As the safety car is coming in, and Nigel's still holding. And he's gone, Nigel has, yeah, he's gone. He hasn't he's caught Adrian sleeping a little bit there. Snedden's up alongside him to turn 1. Snedden's taken P2 from the safety car restart. Adrian was caught sleeping there slightly, and that was a fantastic move from Snedden to turn 1. As the rest of the pack does make it cleanly through. And Nigel is only 8 tenths up the road, but that was a bit of a nightmare restart from Adrian, that was once again.
Yeah. Big disappointment there for Adrian. He did drop back off Nigel Pig on the restart. To be honest, Nigel Pig caught me out on the restart. I didn't expect him to go so soon. I thought he'd go right to the line, really, but yeah, gets on the throttle away. Snedden's now all over the back of him as well, so it hasn't worked out for him there. I'm not good. Continuing his poor race, he's dropped it as well, coming through that right-hander just at the start of sector 2. But it won't be very long before Snedden gets past Nigel Piggle here, and this safety car restart may have just decided Adrian's race if he can't now get back past Snedden.
Yeah, most certainly, and staying off their mediums could prove very costly for Nigel at this point, especially if his two championship drivers do get past him in the next couple of laps, which we do think Snedden will do to turn on. We will ride on board. The drivers are probably side by side. Yep, Snedden's decided to take the long way round. As they come out, and Snedden's Nigel's just ahead. As the drivers, that's a fantastic overtake from Snedden. That is.
Yeah.
Nigel couldn't do anything on them old tyres, and Nigel just had the better pace of the grip advantage through them corners.
Yeah, Nigel needs to know where he's been now. He's got drivers behind him on much better tyres. Why he didn't pit under the safety car, I have no idea. He's going to pit here and fall right back to 15th as it stands. We've got Panic who's retired now as well. Let's hope it's not another safety car. It's a virtual. Is it going to be a full safety car? That would be music to the ears of FPR Lockett, who's spun around as well and is down in 15th now. So both McLarens, 15th and 16th.
Yeah, it's what I mentioned right at the beginning of the stream, that this is it's a very tricky circuit, and it does punish the drivers who do have that little moment in laps of concentration. And we've seen it throughout the race where we are seeing drivers just spin, drop it on the curb, spin it that way, or and just getting stuck behind different cars. And it's a shame, it's nothing against the drivers, it's just the nature of this track, I think. As I'm not good, gets a drive-through penalty and just worsens his race.
Oh dear. Don't have much more to say about that one other than, come back next week and hopefully he can do a bit better there. Because he's going to surf that drive-through penalty. Good for him though for carrying on. He gets a DNF in the pit lane, so there's still 16 laps to go, or 15 and a half now. So there is still time for anything to happen.
Oh, Adrian's dropped it!
As I say that.
He was all over the back of Nigel, and as he come through sector... Oh, he's been disqualified!
Oh, that's the worst part about this game, is that he's just waiting to come back on the track, and yeah, they're disqualifying him because I think he's just sat there, but he isn't. He just can't rejoin, because otherwise he'll take out cars.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Adrian definitely didn't deserve that. As Nigel Piggles left the session. He's not trying to get him right back. But yeah, that's very unfortunate for Adrian. He definitely didn't deserve that. He was all over the back of Nigel and just hit the grass, which spun him. I mean, yeah, there's nothing else I can say about Adrian other than I'm really sorry that the games has done that to you.
Nigel Piggles' AI now being bullied off the road by Potente, who moves up into second place. For good measure, the Ferrari now in with a chance of what is an easy podium now that Adrian's no longer in the frame. Poor Adrian. You have to feel sorry for him. I know it was his mistake to spin him round, but to be disqualified like that, yeah, that's pain, that is, for him.
Yeah, definitely. I feel so sorry for you. As it's interesting for P3 at this point, I think Nigel has got a pit, and the pit under safety car is looking really costly for him. But potentially, we've got a battle here between Espinia, Hobgoblin, and Midfield Maestro for that last podium place. So Espinia's got that penalty, which is it's a 5-second time penalty, so Espinia's got to do a lot of work here. But for Hobgoblin, Midfield Maestro, they've got to be licking the lips at this chance.
Yeah, Hobnob just moving up into 4th place, and as you were talking about that, gets ahead of Espenio. Hobnob and Midfield Maestro both on the hard tyres compared to Espenio's mediums. So yeah, it's looking good for Hobnob and Midfield Maestro at the minute. And as you mentioned, Espenio's got a lot of work to do factoring in that penalty, but you can't count him out at the moment.
No, definitely not. I mean, Snedden is just pulling the gap ahead of himself now. He hasn't got his championship rival Adrian to push him along. We know Valenti hasn't got the pace to keep up with him. So assuming everything stays as is and keeps it normal, Snedden surely won this race from this point onwards.
You would expect so, but I did say that anything can happen, and about half a second after I said that, Adrian span around. So I'll say it again, anything can happen. But yeah, it looks like it might be a controlled drive. 25, if not 26 valuable points in his championship. And what were we discussing earlier, TJ? How quickly will Snedden just start to think about preserving points? He's showing no signs of that at the minute. He's picking up wins on the way to this title, which looks inevitable at this stage. Barring any miracle for his championship challenges, it looks to be Snedden who's going to be the odds-on favourite for this title now.
Yeah, certainly. We have watched him throughout the season. I know we are talking as if we are towards the back end of the season already. We are only round 13, but with his championship lead that he's got and only going to extend that first race, assuming everything stays the way it is, it's going to be so hard for any driver to catch him.
Yeah, I think he might even get as high as 70 points here. And Nigel Piggle comes into the pits as well. Locker's running down in 13th. His run of points finishes might come to an inevitable end unless he can latch on to perhaps P10. Still time for that race to run its course, but Snedden, interestingly enough, out of VRS now, so he's pushing and gets the fastest lap for now.
Yep, as Nigel Piggle does come into the pits, he is going to drop back quite a bit on the grid here. He's going to drop behind Locker. And from this point onwards, it's a lot of work to ask Nigel to get back up in a decent points finish.
It's just, I don't understand what logic he was going for. I really don't. There is a yellow flag out ahead of him. Willy Bum has had a spin. Hasn't retired though, but I mean, why did he not pit earlier on? He's now 24 seconds off the lead. And
yeah,
12 laps left now. I mean, even to get into the lower half of the top 10, it's going to be a lot of work from here.
Yeah, definitely. He will obviously make a lot of time up to reach to start with, but there's a lot of drivers bunched together that who are in the DRS training. He will have the better grip, but he's going to struggle to get through him surely. This is massive points lost from Nigel potentially.
Yeah, Willy Bum's got no front wing, so gets out of the way of Nigel, so that's one driver he would not have to think about passing, but yeah, it's so many missed points for Nigel Piggle. And for comparison, FPR Locker is 11th. They both, Locker pitted where Nigel Piggle didn't, and he's, 9 seconds up the road, and we saw Locker have that issue as well on the restart, so he could have been much higher himself. That's what Nigel Piggle missed out on, and that's why he's got such a task from here on out.
Yeah, definitely. What an absolute... I mean, I'm going to say absolute shame for the championship. Obviously, Snedden will be over the moon if assuming it stays like this, but what's happened to Locker, Tada, Adrian, Nigel, the drivers that could have really put some dent into that lead, it just hasn't happened for him today.
Yeah, it just hasn't happened at all. And Snedden can see what's happening to the guys behind. We know he has the stream on. We know he keeps up to date what's going on in the race around him, and he'll see that Locker is down in 11th. He'll see that Nigel Piggle's had his mishap. He'll see that Adrian's out in 11th as well, and yeah, he'll know that this is. He's got one hand surely on the trophy now.
Yep, certainly. As pay attention back to what's happening on track a little bit, as we discussed a couple laps ago, the battle for P3 is on, and it's really close between Hobnob, Spinning, Midfield Maestro and Magsy. There is a bit of DRS train happening, but no drivers behind Hobnob can get a move done. Is what we've seen throughout the race. That to get a move done, you've got to be a little bit ballsy.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian, we've seen he threw it up the inside of, I think it was Locker earlier on. We've seen him do overtakes and 70. It's not easy to overtake. You have to really get late on the brakes to throw it the inside of the driver ahead of you. And with so many different drivers on different tyres and different life of tyre now, you might start to see some of that advantage, that tyre advantage come into play now. The likes of Locker might be looking to get ahead of Mongo and T-Jerk and Diamond even on those slower, more worn tyres ahead of him. But Max's done a great job to get back up to P6. It seems like every time I've kind of seen him in this race, he's been backwards on track. It's done great to get up to 6th, possibly 5th by the end of this straight.
Yeah, as Espenio sends it up the outside and gets the move on Hobnob. Fantastic move from Espenio there. Hobnob is out of the RS, which probably played a little bit favourable to Espenio's hand, but nonetheless, it was a fantastic move from the driver. And I think we're just going to see this happen throughout the rest of the race now, where these four drivers are just going to push each other in, try and get the other driver into a mistake and perhaps pick a time penalty up, because that's all it's going to take to ruin someone's chance here.
Definitely, and that 5-second penalty might ruin Espenio's race as well. He's done really well to manage that ERS, though. He's got 50% at the moment. Guys behind him just scratched at 20 or 30 at the minute. Hobnob, we know, has just run out. He's going to run out again here, so he's clearly struggling for pace on those old hard tyres now.
Yeah, most certainly, and all it's going to do for Hobnob here is just send him backwards. As you imagine, Mayfield Maestro is probably going to get moved up down to turn 1 here if Hobnob squirts his ERS, which he is. He's using it all for his final corner, and you imagine Mayfield Maestro, who hasn't got much more ERS, but I imagine he's going to look to move down to turn 1, which he is. Sends it down the inside. A bit of contact between the drivers, but he has got the move done. As Hobnob is trying to fight it back. This is fantastic battling again from the T3 drivers, and we've seen this a couple of times already today. And that's, yeah, Mayfield Maestro gets the move done. Mikesy was looking for a bit of sniff from Hobnob there. Decides better of it, but these three drivers are pushing each other. And all it's done here is it's allowed Espenio to escape and build a big gap at the Delta DRS.
Music to his ears, that will Hobnob taps, gives a little bit of a love tap to the back of Mayfield Maestro there. Espenio knows he needs the gap for his penalty to finish on the podium. Maxi as well will be loving this fight ahead of him. That's brought him right back into contention of a podium as well. He's only got 11 lap old mediums too, so if he applies his time right here, he can get past two ahead of him. But what Hobnob has to do here is he has to just start managing that ERS. He's running out completely on the straights, and that restricts your engine power so much. I mean, he's coming onto the straight now. He's virtually out of the ERS. Max is going to literally swipe past. There you go. The difference in engine power is unbelievable, and Maxi can just breathe past him.
Yeah, Hobnob has really thrown away this P3. I think there's an easy. Bit of late braking there. Perhaps tried to force Maxi a bit wide, but thinks better of it. Maxi keeps his line next to the corner. But yeah, I don't think this is a track where you recover the ERS much at all, to be honest. So he's in a catch-22 where he needs the ERS, but you can't recover it enough, and he needs it on the straight to keep ahead. One thing that I have been noticing and been tracking is while this battle's going on for these three ahead of him, it's like these three drivers are battling. Tadas is closing that gap and getting himself into this battle as well.
Yeah, well, that's another driver. It seems that every time we've mentioned today, he's been in the wrong direction. So great drive for him to get back to P7 as well. Obviously helped by safety cars, of course, for him and Maxi, but nonetheless, some good points on the board for them both at the minute. And Tadas, as you've mentioned, coming up to this fight for third place now. Another thing as well is I imagine Sed is just managing his tyres and managing the gap here, but Valente is catching Sneddon at the minute. The gap is now about 2 seconds. It's come down by about half a second in the last lap. I just wonder if Sneddon made a mistake or anything, whether he's just managing the tyres here.
Yeah, I'm just looking on board with both drivers. It's Valente's got less ERS, Sneddon's got about double his ERS actually compared to Valente, so yeah, maybe he's protecting them tyres. They are 20 laps old now, and perhaps he's just trying to avoid any potential punctures that might come along. As it looks like David will face a bit of an issue as he drops down to P13. Such a shame for David, you know, he had a really good start and just a couple of spins cost him, same as T-Jerk as well, his own Grand Prix, that hasn't really gone his way. Nigel Piggle, we haven't really discussed him since he come in the pits, but he is out of the points, he isn't really making the impact as we thought he wouldn't. How much is he going to regret not pitting under the safety car?
Well, with about 5 laps to go when Sneddon crosses the line, I imagine the best he can aim for really is 8th, maybe.
Oh, Nigel's dropped it.
Oh,
He's...
as I say that.
Yeah, I think he touched the inside curve coming around the final set of corners, and the back end just spun on him. And yeah, he might go to P10 because Mongo's pitted. But he's got his strategy completely wrong here, Nigel, as he should have pitted under the safety car, and we both questioned it. He's going to be kicking himself here, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he'll be fuming, absolutely fuming. He thought he was playing the clever strategy there by coming into the pits, not coming into the pits, I should say. But yeah, it hasn't worked out for him, as we didn't think it would. He thought differently, and coupled with the spin as well. I take it back, it's not 8th he's going to aim for, it's probably 10th now.
I've just been talking about that actually. I'm not sure if Sneddon's got damage, and I've just picked up what you picked up on here. Valente is pretty much on the back of Sneddon now. And I wonder if Sneddon's either got damage or struggling in them medium tyres.
Well, I'm looking at Sneddon's front wing. It looks okay at the moment, at least graphically. It's got a bit of a better tyre advantage. Maxi makes the move for 3rd place. Now you get a flag out though around the first sector. It's from Midfield Maestro, who's dropping backwards now after fighting for that podium then. So, big shame for him. Yeah, I don't know if he's been managing fuel or whether he's got damage, but the gap is just over a second now. So, nearly within DRS. Maybe he just wanted to get us a little bit excited rather than drive away with it. Gap now back up to nearly 2 seconds, so perhaps he was just managing the tyres, but 3 laps to go and they cross the line. Something else to touch upon, I'm not good to left the session again, so he can't rejoin now, based on the new guidance. That's the 3rd time he's left, I think. And his AI car, I imagine he must have put across the corner, because his AI set a 1 minute 10.1 on 19 lap old hards.
So
I don't think we'll be giving the fastest lap to I'm Not Good. I don't think that was easy. On 19 lap old hards with a 1:10.1. You never know, he might have done.
I mean, it's a valiant effort if he has, but yeah, we'll have to have a look at that and see what happened. Yeah, if you're listening, please don't rejoin the session. Your timer is up, unfortunately. And yeah, as we are coming to the closing stage of this, Hobnob is all over the back of Spinio. Tadas has joined this party as well. I mean, well, just a quick word of Spinio actually. He has had a bit of a quiet drive. Obviously, this 5-second time penalty is going to knock him back there. It could knock him back as far as P8, P9 maybe? Which is a shame for the Haas driver, because he has shown really good pace today, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He should be really encouraged by the pace that he's shown. Even if he drops back to 8th, of course, there could always be post-race penalties applied, so it's still worth pushing along and trying to get that gap up a bit more. The only thing that is going to let him down from a fine drive is that 5 seconds, which I think he got speeding in the pit lane earlier this race. Valente's got the gap down to under a second, I was going to say, with 2 laps to go here, so we could have a fight on for the win somehow out of nothing.
Yeah, I've just noticed that, and I think I will keep an eye on the battle going on for 4th place, but I am going to keep on board Valente here for the final, for the last couple of laps. This could be the interesting end, and Snedden probably might not have been expecting this. He is keeping him out of DRS currently, but surely the way Valente is driving, he's going to be in DRS for the last lap, which I wonder if he's got enough tyre wear to really challenge for the win here.
Yeah, he might just be outside. I think Snedden might just get the job done. It'd be interesting to see after this race if we can speak to Snedden. Of course, we usually do. What the issue was, why Valente was able to close, but it looks like he's just going to get over the line ahead of him. Magsy's pulled a gap now as well, so it looks like he's set for P3 after all of his woes. So a great drive from him as well to P3.
Yeah, fantastic drive. You know, we did mention the Williams drivers struggled a little bit throughout this Grand Prix, and yeah, it's great to see that Magsy is going to finish P3, assuming nothing bad happens on this last lap. As I have just noted, that there is a battle going on between Hobnob and Tadas. They have just trading places, and it looks like they're side by side coming through some of the corners in Sector 1. I am keeping my eye on Snedden currently, he has pulled that gap, so I am going to drop back to this Hobnob and Tadas. As I come on board, and the drivers are pretty much side by side coming through Sector 2 here. This is going to be a close finish here for what is essentially P4. Tadas isn't giving this place up at all. He's going side by side once again, got to get his DRS. DRS gets forward, gets the overtake done. Going into the last sector now. I'm just going to break away as we watch Snedden come across the line. And Snedden finishes P1, Valente P2. Magsy coming through the final quarters, we finish P3. Espinia, as we know, he's got a time penalty, but we'll finish P4. Tadas comes across the line, gets P4 because of the time penalty for Espinia. However, we are going to have to look at the finishing times because Hobnob's dropped back down to P8 for some reason.
Yeah, don't think that should have happened. Hobnob gets P4 there.
Yeah, I think P5. I think it should be Snedden, Valente, Magsy, Tadas, Hobnob, and then Diamond, Midfield Maestro, Espinia.
I didn't see whether did Tadas get the move done. I didn't see if Tadas got the move done. Right.
Tadas definitely finished ahead. So, but either way, we'll sort that out. But yeah, that is that's a fantastic drive from Snedden and Valente and Magsy. Really unfortunate to Adrian there. Unfortunately, I can apologise for what the game does. And Nigel's thanked us for our comms curse.
I mean, any time. Anything for you, of course, Mr. Pickle.
And there we have it. We have our finishing results for the Zandvoort Netherlands Grand Prix from Zandvoort. I will just quickly run through the finishing places of Biddle once we get the top three into the party. So we got Iron John Nedder, Mr. Whippy, Panicans, Adrian, I'm Not Good, Willy Bum Bongo, David Blowface, T-Jerk, and our top 10 for today was Nigel Piggle, who managed to steal a point, Locker, Hobnob, Espinia, who drove a fantastic race, unfortunately that 5-second penalty, Midfield Maestro, Diamond, Tadas, Magsy, Valente, and Snedden as our winner for today. Obviously these results might change as we need to review where Hobnob finished, but either way it was a good end to the race, wasn't it, Bill?
Yeah, fantastic, and we nearly got some action for the lead as well. Unfortunately, just not quite enough left in the tank for Valente, and it was a good battle as well for P3 until the last couple of laps, of course, and Tadas getting the overtake on the last lap on Hobnob as well. So yeah, good racing all the way through.
Yep, as I'll just jump to the showroom quickly. I've seen we've got a couple of drivers in there. I'm not sure who we've got currently. Let's pull up the Alfa Romeo. Who have we got then? So we're just missing Valente. We will just give him a minute just in case he is having any issues. But before we go into interviews, Bill, I'll get this bit done nice and early. Based on what's happened today, who's your driver of the day?
Oh, without a doubt, the tactical mastermind. No, I'm really joking. It's not Nigel Pickler. Unfortunately, yeah, he isn't a tactical mastermind. I don't know really. To be honest, I'm not a fan of giving it to the driver. You know how the game calculates it, where it does it from the biggest to the biggest overtakes. I think it is, isn't it? The most overtakes you've made, it gives driver of the day to. But on this occasion, for Diamond to go from P19 to potentially P6 or 5, in with a sniff of P4 and the podium, really, I'm going to have to give it to Diamond, I think, on that basis. Other good shouts would have been Magsy. I got P3. I know he was backwards about 10 times in the race, so somehow got a podium. And Tadas as well, actually, because as I said, we mentioned him being around a few times, but I think I'll give it to Diamond. But all three of those could have won it today.
Yep, good shot there, Biddle. I would have struggled today as well, and congratulations on driver of the day, Diamond, if you are listening. It doesn't look like we're getting Valente, so Biddle, do you want to interview Magsy and I'll do Snedden?
Yep, that sounds fine by me. So, Magsy, P3. Not bad pace, really. Qualifying, you know, it's what we've come to expect from your qualifying, really, in terms of your position. But in the race, it seemed like you had a difficult kind of opening for a couple of stints, really. I think you went soft, didn't you? What was the reason behind that?
In the end, because of that first safety car, I knew I really enjoy this track, so I knew that if I was to get on the softs, I could just pick through that midfield and get back up to the top 5. And then once I got there, it was just a matter of trying to time my pit right. Luckily, a second safety car happened, which I wasn't expecting, so that just boosted my chances really. So I was annoyed because, you know, starting P6 straight down into P17, then back up to P5 to then pit and go back down to P13 to then get back up the podium. I'm beyond buzzing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about next, really. Like I said, we saw you backwards, well, what seemed like for me at least 5 times, but I don't know how many times it actually was.
Just once.
What happened? What happened? I saw you in the gravel, and then you had an issue and you stopped a thing.
I touched too much of that curb, and then obviously, you know, when you touch too much of that curb on that double right-hander, it's game over, and I just focused on too much on the driver ahead and driver behind, and just forgot where I was on the track. So I was, like I said, I was absolutely gutted that I hit that curb, but I knew I had the pace to get back up. It was just a matter of when.
And did you think there was still a podium in it for you? Did you think you could have got to P3? Did you know Espino had that penalty? Did that play in your mind, or did you know you get it done on track?
I knew Espino had that penalty from the first safety car, and because I saw it early, and then once I started to see I was catching up to Midfield Maestro and Hobnob, and Espino, Midfield Maestro was on hards, and so was Espino. I think as soon as I started to catch up to them, I was just, I was grinning at the opportunity, and then once the time came, we were 3 wide, I had the better tyres.
Yeah, no, definitely made them work as well and picked up, as I mentioned, that P3 today. Before this race, P4 in the driver standings, only 6 points though off P2, and I'm sure you know what happened to the drivers ahead of you and even the drivers behind you. Are you thinking about P2 in this championship now with your form at the moment?
I think I've got to be. I've got to be, because how close it is, you can't not see about, you know, the next race, because anything can happen. Someone can spin, a random safety car, one overtake, and it changes your position in that standing. So it's definitely on my mind.
Well, no, absolutely fantastic race today. Fantastic. So far this season, that's your 5th podium. 3rd, 2nd place. There's got to be a win in there somewhere, hopefully, for your case.
Hopefully.
It's, in Monza next time out, that'll be nice for you.
Oh, that would be nice.
Well, I'll hand it over to DJ, who'll interview our race winner and regular interviewee, it seems now, Snedden69.
Yeah, thanks, Biddle, and congratulations on your P3 Magsy. Brilliant drive from himself there.
Cheers.
Shout out to Belente as well for interview Snedden. Fantastic to get P2. He has posted saying he's got to shoot off, so that's why he can't join the interviews, but he's also said well done to Snedden and Magsy, which I'm sure me and Biddle will both echo as well. But I will move on to Snedden, our championship leader and winner of today's race. I mean, Snedden, these interviews must be getting boring for you now, surely.
No, I always like a weekly catch up with you two, but it's not really a bad thing.
No, it's it's fantastic to talk to you week in, week out, especially with you so far in the lead in the championship now. I mean, we'll talk about the race and we'll move on to the championship lead afterwards. I mean, through quali, you look like you had the pace. You're on the pace. Adrian was pushing you though for definite.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him go into the 109s in time trial, absolute fraud. But yeah, I wasn't too comfortable in qualifying, but my setup was sort of to help me in qualifying because I know it's quite hard to overtake because everyone's running high downforce and there's only really one long straight. But yeah, sort of just like took it out of the bag in the end. And then I think Adrian crashed. I don't know if he DNF, but yeah, and then it was that.
Yep. I mean, for the race, I mean, we'll start with the first part of the race. That there was a fantastic battle between you, Adrian, and Nigel, and we thought it was going to continue throughout the race. I mean, were you ever scared at that point that you wouldn't win the race, that or did you know you had the pace to really just sit back and protect the tyres and really push for it?
Well, I didn't think Adrian was going to get past. I think I sort of had him covered, on the softs anyway. And I'm surprised we didn't pull away that much from Nigel, because for me the mediums were horrendous. But yeah, he sort of stuck with us, and then yeah, I expected him to put at least under one safety car, but yeah, sort of like went bad for him. But yeah, it was quite good.
Yes, I mean it was really unfortunate for Adrian. He did spin it himself as he was trying to get past Nigel. And then unfortunately Codemasters, with the fantastic logic it's got in the game, disqualified him as he was trying to rejoin the track safely.
That is a big shame.
There's nothing more else to say other than really sorry about that. But Nigel Piggle, I mean, on that second safety car, when you didn't see him come in, surely you yourself must have realised that he made a mistake at that point.
Yeah, it's happened. Yeah, I think it happened to me last race. Nigel and Adrian both pit under safety car, and I stayed out, and it didn't really work out for me. But yeah, I think Locker pitted under the last safety car, I think, and I don't know why he didn't, to be honest. But I don't know where he finished. Where did he finish?
P10 in the end.
Oh, well, yeah. I thought he was going to start on the softs. Speechless.
I mean that does lead me nicely onto my next question of the championship lead, and you had a 51 point gap to Locker in seconds. I think Tadas finished pretty high today, so it won't be as big, but you've got to be pushing that that 60-70 point bound now, and surely you've got to be your mind frame must be thinking about winning that championship now. You must have one hand on it.
Yeah, I think well, yeah, it's going quite well, isn't it? But yeah, I'm sort of just have got a little bit lucky with Nigel crashing out every race, and and Adrian just being Adrian. But yeah, it's looking quite good now. So yeah, sort of I wouldn't say one hand on it, but it's looking quite good.
I mean, given how your championship rivals have fared today, I think they'd be saying you got one hand on it for definite. I mean, yeah, you must have been laughing when you saw the fact that Adrian went out, Nigel dropped down, Loster was so far back, Tadas wasn't doing great. I mean, you must have just been laughing.
Oh, well, when I saw Adrian went off, my initial thought was that Nigel punted him off. But, and then, yeah, and then, oh, so we got disqualified after he crashed, or spun?
That's right. He tried to rejoin the track in a safe manner, and the game disqualified him for driving the wrong way.
Oh, well, that's rather unfortunate. But, yeah, well, I'm surprised I even made the race, seeing as I sort of disconnected multiple times. But yeah, it's been a good race. I forgot what the question was, to be honest.
No, it's okay. I mean, we move on to Monza next week. Is Monza a strong track of yours?
It's not bad. I think it could be a strong track for anyone if you have the right balance between downforce and straight line speed. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to getting launched at the second chicane. But yeah, we'll see.
Yep. Congratulations on your P1 snadding and for extending your championship lead. No doubt we will be speaking to you next week, so we'll look forward to our catch up then.
Oh, yes.
And that is all we have time for tonight. We do return again for T3 next week on Monza, but before then, we have got the Tier 1 race tomorrow and then the Tier 2 race on Friday. Thank you very much for tuning in and staying under all the engagement. And thank you to, this is going to sound really weird, to my co-coms Biddle.
It's alright, TJ. Thanks to the main comms, TJ.
Yeah, we'll see you all next week.